There we go. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
All right. So we are, we welcome you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to, Gina's going to present about exercising safely at home, developing an exercise program for home, which has become critical these last several months.
Yes, for sure. I know I've personally needed some motivation and drive during quarantine, kind of coming out of quarantine. So I think some of the things that we go over today will really help hopefully give everybody a nice boost, and most importantly, a nice plan for how you feel like this can be accomplished at home, because it can be, I promise.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share our screen here so that we can show the presentation.
Okay.
There, it should come up, and then I think if you go to present, it's big, yeah. Okay, can you guys all see the screen okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so how to begin a Parkinson's exercise program in your home. Tips for safety and success. So some of the things that Shannon and I want to accomplish today, some of our objectives of today are, we want everybody to just gain knowledge on some of the evidence supporting the benefits of exercise with Parkinson's. I know we're told this by our doctors and our therapists, but most importantly, I wanted to get a little bit of that out there first. I want people to be able to be familiar with exercise resources that are available out there. I want us to understand some basic precautions when it comes to exercise safety. And then we also are really hopeful that we can help everyone establish a system for successful exercise at home and making yourselves accountable. So those are our kind of 4 objectives today. All right, so let's talk about the benefits of exercise for people with Parkinson's. And I know we work with a lot of neurologists, and they're very, very supportive of therapy and exercise and activity. In fact, we've had a neurologist tell us one time that exercise is, every bit, if not more important even than your Parkinson's exercise or medications. Mm-hmm. So you really need both of those components, both of those ingredients to have a successful, result. You need to take your medications as prescribed, and you have to move, because Parkinson's is a disease that affects your movement. So, not only for people with Parkinson's, but it's just a really vital component of just maintaining your independence, maintaining your balance, keeping your mobility status, being able to do your daily activities. We want to preserve that, and exercise and activity can do that, can help prevent you from having that functional decline. And there's also some very specific scientific research out there that shows that exercise and physical activity actually has what they call a neuroprotective effect on the brain. So they've done some studies where studying the brains of people with Parkinson's who exercise and people with Parkinson's who do not exercise. And those who exercise and have daily activity, their neurons in their brain, as far as the Parkinson's goes, has less progression. So there's some very, very good evidence out there, and that's why you're always hearing it from your doctors. Exercise, exercise, mm-hmm. Stay active. So what else does the research say? Obviously, exercise improves our walking, our balance, our strength, even the strength in our hands, so we can open jars and turn keys, our motor control. Exercise improves our sleep habits. People who exercise sleep better at night.
Such an issue with Parkinson's for so many people is those sleep patterns.
Mm-hmm. And I think we all know, whether you have Parkinson's or not, if you don't get a good night's sleep, it just carries over to your whole day, and you just feel like blah. So exercise can help promote that healthy sleep pattern. It's also shown to decrease depression, decrease anxiety and stress levels, and just kind of help with mental clarity. Sharpens cognition, memory, and multitask abilities. And that is all, like, not just what I say, but that's what the scientific research says. So that's why we really have to find a way to get exercise into our lives for all of us, but especially if we have a diagnosis of Parkinson's.
Yeah.
So, okay, so exercise, I might have you minimize. Yeah, there we go. Exercise is medicine. So that's what we were kind of saying. It is your medicine. Like, you would not skip taking your Parkinson's medications, right?
Yeah.
No.
No,
Would skip it.
we would never skip it, because you know it helps you move. If you don't take your Parkinson's medications, you're stiff, you're in the mud. So don't skip your exercise. You know, you have to get in that mindset and make room for it in your day.
And we think of it a lot like brushing your teeth. Like, you brush your teeth to prevent decay. You brush your teeth to just as part of your day. That's how important exercise is. That's the prevention that you're providing with exercise.
Yeah. So here's some good kind of just resources. So how can I get exercise? So obviously some options are you can get one-on-one instruction, and many people need that. They just like need somebody to tell them what to do. And I'm actually kind of one of those people. Like, I go to a spinning class, which was very hard in quarantine when it was shut down, but I need somebody to like just boss me around and tell me to get this work done. So somebody that can provide one-on-one instruction would be like a physical therapist, addressing exercise, you know, for strength, balance, walking. An occupational therapist can also provide specific one-on-one training on things like that you might be having trouble with your activities of daily living, like getting dressed or, you know, being able to multitask and carry things in the kitchen.
Bathing, buttons, small fine motor things.
Tying shoes. Those are all like, there's really specific strategies that can be worked on for that. Speech therapists like Shannon can help you if you're having any like changes with your swallow. Difficulty chewing, drinking things, choking, or even if your voice, especially, is another Parkinson's side effect, is people become very quiet and without trying, and then all of a sudden they're not able to be heard as easily from those around them.
Yeah, it's kind of like a vocal manifestation of what happens in the rest of the body. Parkinson's makes it very those movements very small. So much like steps become shuffly, and you don't notice it until you start to trip maybe. The voice becomes small and quiet, and it's not always noticeable until you realize that everyone around you is losing their hearing. And it's not necessarily that everyone around you is going deaf. It's that your voice, Parkinson's, is making that small. And there's a lot of great therapy that we can do to regain that voice. And if you haven't lost it, to prevent you from losing it too.
Yes. And especially now with some of the social distancing, there's a lot more phone calls. There's a lot more of this. So it's very important that you can be heard by people, because it's
wearing
a vital
mask.
Wearing a mask. You're right. It's a vital part of kind of our connections is our ability to being able to communicate. You can also try to research out there if there's any personal trainers who specialize in working either with the senior population, or especially if you can find somebody who specializes in working with people with Parkinson's. So that's also kind of another option. There's some good websites that I've listed. These are some of Shannon and I's favorites. And I think in our May newsletter, she shared a lot of online resources for people with Parkinson's. But Delay the Disease is a great website for exercise ideas. My personal favorite is YouTube. So you can go to youtube.com, and all you have to type in is like Parkinson's exercise, and you're going to have like 500 days worth of Parkinson's exercises to watch. So sometimes my patients and my families think, oh, you're so creative. How do you think of those things? And I'm like, don't give me all the credit.
Yeah.
So, and if you feel comfortable, like doing something in seated, like you can type in like sitting exercises for Parkinson's, or if you're having trouble with your hands or your fingers, you can type in hand exercises for Parkinson's. So the internet is an amazing, wonderful toolbox out there. So, but it doesn't replace one-on-one instruction. So it's nice to have the guidance of a therapist or a personal trainer kind of tell you what to work on, but to know those things are out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And if anybody didn't get our May newsletter with all those resources, I think it was May or maybe it was June.
Maybe it was June.
It might've been June. If you didn't get that email, and you want it, just, send us an email and I can forward it.
Yeah. And then just some other resources. This is still going over resources. So some of the books and the DVDs that I have personally, like as a Parkinson's therapist, I really like Delay the Disease by David Zid. I think he has 3 books out now.
It's great. The pictures are great. It's very clear.
Yeah, it makes a nice birthday, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas gift.
We're less than 6 months from Christmas.
Yeah. So, and there's another one called Power Moves. And it's kind of similar to some of the LSVT moves, but a little different. It focuses a lot on breathing and posture. So I like some of those. And then there's also something called it's Smart XPD, but it stands for Smart Exercise Parkinson's Disease. So I've discovered this guy too, and he's got some good stuff. And then there used to be, or there may still be, some socially distanced community exercise classes, but for the most part, those senior exercise classes are on hold right now, which is why it's so important that we're going to talk about exercising at home. Okay, so let's talk about how to be safe. Because I can tell everybody is like gung-ho. They're like, all right, Gina and Shannon, I'm going to exercise. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to start tomorrow.
The first thing I find on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm going to do the first dangerous thing I find on YouTube. So, first of all, like we highly recommend, if you're going to start something, that's vigorous and that's really new to you, obviously, that you check with your physician just to make sure that there's been no health changes. But with Parkinson's, we highly encourage, even just a mild to moderate exercise level, I think is safe for anybody. I'm talking about if you're like really going to pump up the volume.
Right. Yeah. You're going to take up cycling or boxing or something with
something very
high aerobic.
Like if you're going to get on some Nautilus equipment and go to town, those are the kinds of exercise that we want you to consult with your physician. But I think for the most part, just a general, moderate paced exercise is really safe for
or if you've recently had orthopedic surgery.
Yeah, or any like recent like cardiac events or changes. But physicians really highly support exercise for people with Parkinson's. And the other thing, and I don't just say this because I'm a therapist, but get therapy. Everybody pays Medicare premiums, insurance premiums. It's a benefit that you have as a recipient, a Medicare recipient, or whoever your insurance provider is. And having a diagnosis like Parkinson's it's very supportive of therapy. And it's your benefit to use. So you can use it or not use it, but you're going to pay the same premiums no matter what. So we really try to educate our patients and our families to use those benefits each year.
There's no they're not going to say 10 years from now, oh, you already used it up, you can't use it again. There's none of that. So you use it when you need it, and use it as you go. So we really encourage everybody to use those benefits and get that therapy, because as therapists, we are uniquely trained to help you have a safe, effective exercise program.
Right. And I think everybody, we all just need that little boost and that little check-in sometimes. I'm the same way. it really helps to have like a buddy system, like a
Mhm.
partner. So like if I like to encourage our Parkinson's friends and families, like, check in with your therapist at least a minimum of 6 months. Even if it's just for an evaluation,
Mhm.
retest your balance,
Mhm.
retest your walking, just
Mhm.
to know where you're at
Mhm.
compared to the last time.
Yeah,
It's-
I'm competitive, so I like that. I want to know
Yeah.
how fast did I do it last time? Where are my measures compared?
Right.
So,
And, it gives you something to work for. Because if like, well, I got an appointment with Shannon in 3 weeks, I better start working on my voice because
Mhm.
she's going to see.
Mhm.
So it gives us that drive to kind of keep moving forward. So, and I really encourage everybody to seek out like a therapist who specializes in home health or specializes in Parkinson's disease, like in the home. They can help you set up a safe exercise program that's like individual to your Parkinson's deficits. Because despite us all having that diagnosis of Parkinson's, everybody's individual symptoms and uniqueness, it's all so different. So it's really important that you have an exercise program and a stretching program that's really specific to you.
Mhm.
So seek expertise. And, the other thing is like, just set your limits, be safe. Don't start off with too much too soon. And I really always encourage everybody to just be realistic with your goals. And we don't, I think sometimes when we get a patient, they just want to do all they can for us.
Yes.
And it's like, no, we don't expect those
Mhm.
instantaneous results, and you shouldn't either. It takes time, to work up to. And people feel more successful when they have a sustainable, goal. Make sure if you're going to begin exercising at home that your exercise surface is safe and smooth. So, try to find something like a flat surface. Like a low pile carpet is okay, but like a fluffy rug is not really super great for exercise. Make sure you wear shoes that have a heel or a back on them. Don't wear any flip-flops or clogs or anything like that could slip off. I know a lot of people like to wear Crocs, but I don't really recommend exercising in them, just in case, your foot would come out. And then 2, you want to make sure in your environment that even if you're not using it, but that you have something sturdy to hold on to or to be able to reach for, in case you lose your balance, that you have something for stability there. Like the kitchen sink is a great place if you've got the room to exercise. Sometimes like a railing, an open stair railing, or a heavy chair.
The back of a couch, if it's like a firm couch.
Mm-hmm. So make sure that there's just something nearby to kind of give you some stability. So then I think the next slide we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about safety. One more slide. So yeah, safety first. If you don't feel safe doing it, listen to that little voice in your head and don't do it alone. Seek some help from your care partner, help from a therapist. Make sure you stay safe. Okay, so this is probably the most important objective that we want to get to today is all right, Gina and Shannon, this sounds awesome. I can do this, but how am I going to do this? Where do I start? So hopefully this kind of gives you a little framework of how to have a system for exercise success.
Because it's easy to just go out and exercise tomorrow or even exercise a couple days in a row. But if you don't have some kind of framework for it, then it's even easier to fall off and not go back to that. So we really want you to have an exercise program that you can use and sustain.
Yes. So first thing I want you to do is I want you guys to set some goals. Write down the goals that you would like to accomplish as a result of exercise. What's your desired outcome? Do you want to feel stronger? Do you want to get better at your walking and balance? Do you want to have less falls? Feel less fatigued? So really think about, what do you want to get better as a result of your exercise? So think about some of those things. And it can be really specific, like, I want to dance at my granddaughter's wedding in September. you know, something like that. Like give yourself a goal to work towards that outcome. And it's amazing when you have that something specific to work towards, how it can really help you stay driven.
Right. And it might be specific, but not that monumental. It might just be, I want to be able to get all the way through the grocery store without having to sit down and rest or something like that. So there's big moments and small moments in our life, but we want you to kind of be able to be present for all of those.
That's right. So yes, so write those goals down. And then just to help yourself focus, like set daily goals, you know, weekly goals, and as well as like bigger functional goals too. So like one of those bigger functional goals that Shannon just, you know, mentioned was like being able to walk all the aisles of the grocery store, or maybe being able to have the activity tolerance or the balance confidence to like go out of town for a weekend. So that would be like a bigger goal. But maybe like your daily goal would just be that
walk to the mailbox.
Yeah.
Or you want to call your daughter and be able to talk with a strong voice.
So just kind of help set that plan is a really good step towards success. Another thing that helps people stay accountable with an exercise program is to find a partner in crime. So this is kind of what I was referencing to, like even myself, like exercising successfully, like I just need somebody to boss me around, to tell me what to do.
All research points to, if you have someone kind of helping keep you accountable, you're much more likely to stay on an exercise program.
So we like to encourage like spouses and care partners to join in with the exercise. A lot of the exercises for Parkinson's are good for everybody, every human being. Parkinson's or not. So, you know, find yourself an exercise buddy, help motivate each other, help make each other accountable for getting your exercise done. Like, well, honey, we didn't do our 20 minutes of exercise yet. So, you know, try to get to that system. You can make a chart or like a check off on the calendar to like, did you get your exercise done today? And there's also a lot of research and exercise accountability that just shows that visual. So seeing that you have a smiley face on the counter or a check mark, that signals you got your exercise done. So you can then look at that and be like, wow, I did a really good job this week. I have 4 out of the 7 days, I have check marks that I did exercise.
And that really helps release those good feeling chemicals and really just helps propel you forward.
Yes, it's very motivating. And then the other thing for, you know, success with exercise is just putting it in your daily routine. So this is where kind of having that exercise buddy, like you're going to do it, try to do it the same time, the same place. Like routine is brushing your teeth. Routine is reading the newspaper. Routine is having your morning coffee. So if you can kind of have a schedule in your day, I think we all kind of get up, brush our teeth, have coffee, read the newspaper, or read something online.
Right.
Well, then maybe after that, you get your 20 minutes of exercise in, and then you know, you've got that accomplished. So if there's any way you can just put it in your daily routine, that's how you're going to be the most successful.
Yeah. For us during quarantine, we started taking a family walk every evening after supper. And so that just became part of our routine. And the problem was if it rained or something, it was the end of the day and we were kind of out of luck. So it's hard when your routine, where you build it in, is at the end of the day, because if anything happens, it kind of gets thrown off. So
right. So do your best with that. And then, so this is just an example of like an exercise log to keep yourself accountable. But this is kind of fancy. So you can make up your own. I mean, some people get really motivated about having a chart system, or you can just do something very simple on the calendar to keep yourself accountable.
And if you're tech savvy, there's all kinds of apps that you can use that will track it for you and things like that. A Fitbit or a smartwatch is also a great gift idea for someone with Parkinson's, because you can really track a lot of your exercise.
It reminds you, if you have like a smartwatch like Shannon has, it reminds you if you haven't taken enough steps in the day.
Or if you have sat for too long too, it'll buzz and it'll say it's time to stand up, because it knows that I've been sitting too long. And a lot of people say, you know, sitting is the new smoking. Sitting is bad for us, sitting for too long. So my watch will remind me, you need to stand up. And so it can be a helpful tool too.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about a framework for like a successful like home program initiation. So I've kind of got it laid out in like a 4-week plan here. And I really like this slide. It's probably my favorite slide in the whole presentation. So this might be something like if you rewatch it again, you can take a picture of it with your camera and kind of set your own plan around it. So, you know, first of all, like week 1, like I want everybody, we talked about in the beginning, making a realistic goal, right? So start simple, set doable goals. I recommend maybe setting a goal of maybe exercising 3 times a week. Okay. So, and I'm talking, you know, maybe 20 minutes at a time to start, eventually working up to 30, but 20 minutes a day for just 3 days a week, and start with that. And then the following week, maybe you progress the intensity or the duration of your exercise workouts. Maybe you exercise for 25 minutes and then add an extra day to 4 days a week.
Yeah. Or this is where, if you're like walking your neighborhood, maybe you take the hill instead of avoiding the hill. That will add, that's the intensity that you can add.
That's the adding of the challenge.
Yeah, if you're on your treadmill or if you're using weights, that's adding the intensity.
And then week 3, kind of just add some more like exercise complexity, some more challenges, multitasking. So being able to physically move while we're using our brain. Lots of evidence out there about the benefit of that type of exercise for people with Parkinson's. And I'm going to show you some example at the end here. And then week 4, we would assume then, okay, we've made it to week 4, like routine exercise habit is established. Your program should include stretching and exercise, as well as some like functional tasks. Functional tasks would be like things like getting up out of a chair big, or some walking, maybe in tight spaces. So just that it has all those components, you know, stretching, strengthening, and some functional. And then, you know, just moving forward, that exercise becomes a lifelong activity for you. Therapists will always be there to help you along your journey, to help you progress and adapt. And that's what we do as therapists, is see people individually for, you know, exactly what they've got going on, and help develop a program that's specific to them. Because we know with Parkinson's that things can change. So, and we've seen it how many times, the change for the better.
Right.
And that's like the best experience when, like, we've had people like, they do Parkinson's therapy with us, and then like 2 months later, we're just like, you look so much younger than you did 2 months ago. So maybe the exercises we did in the beginning are too easy for them because they've progressed.
Right.
So it's very much,
and that's where that progress is. But there's also the adapt, which is not moving backwards necessarily. It's just, you know, adapting to what we need to do. So as the Parkinson's changes, we change too.
Right.
As the Parkinson's changes day by day, because you're going to have good days and bad days. So you may have to have a plan A exercise and a plan B exercise if you have a lot of variability in your days.
Exactly. Yeah. We not really talked about the good days and bad days with Parkinson's, but I think everybody out there knows that it's very much a fact of life. So, and that's okay. You know what, if there's a day where you're having a bad Parkinson's day, or a bad day for whatever reason, if you miss your exercise, like, you just get back on it the next day. You know, don't like use that as an excuse. But if you've missed your exercise for too many days or too many months, then that's probably when it's time to get like the guidance of a therapist to kind of get you back on the right track and help you feel like it's doable again. Because when people become inactive for a while and they haven't exercised on their own, it can be a scary, like intimidating thing to start.
And so much more challenging. Like,
yeah.
I know anytime that I stop exercising and then I go back to it, I'm like, what? I used to be able to do this. It's so much harder. So, you know, that's always, and that can be really discouraging. So kind of getting back on that horse, a lot of people quit, and that just makes more bad days. So we really don't want anyone to get stuck in that loop.
So we'll always, yes, be here for you. So what are the next steps? So we're kind of review, you know, kind of what we talked about. So you're going to set your personal goals, right? What outcomes you want to have from your exercise? Do you want to feel stronger, less stiff, have more energy? Write those goals down so you can visualize your results. Rally your team. Align yourself with a therapist who specializes in Parkinson's. Choose an exercise buddy. This can be a care partner, a friend, or a family. You know, get your team together so you can be successful. Third, just make it happen. Like, don't make excuses, just make it happen. Take each day for what it is and just do your best, and know that every day you can lay down in your bed and that you did the best that you could with what you had to deal with that day. So, you know, we talked about having the guidance of a therapist, and, you know, how can like home health, like somebody that can come to my house, like help you with that? How do I get that? So I wanted to put those instructions in there because it's something we've been seeing a lot of in quarantine, especially the last few months.
There's so many fewer options for therapy and for group exercise. So we really want to make sure we include some kind of the main avenue that's available right now for help. We want to make sure that you guys understand how to do that.
Yeah. So if anybody's interested in home health therapy, all you need, and again, it's covered 100% by your insurance. I mean, they'll run all your, I guess some insurance is different, but usually home health falls under your Medicare Part A. So it's typically covered.
If you have a replacement, and you know, a lot of people have both the Medicare or Medicare replacement as well as a supplement, or a secondary. So,
right. So it's not typically associated with a copay like outpatient therapy is, Part B. It's usually just at no cost to you, which is why we're always like, use your therapy benefits. Like it's like right there for you.
Right.
So you can call your physician to get an order for home health therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, whichever. The order can come from any doctor. It doesn't have to come from your neurologist. It can come from your family doctor. I've even had a cardiologist write orders for home health physical therapy for Parkinson's because the patient was complaining about it that day, and he just wrote it out. And I really encourage, you know, any therapy is better than no therapy, first of all. But if you can align yourself with a therapist who specializes in Parkinson's, it's really can be a game changer. Shannon and I are both specialized, or we're certified in a technique called LSVT. And it's a really long-standing Parkinson's specific therapy program, and we've had a lot of success with it. And
gold standard.
It's the gold standard. It's the best of the best that is out there right now as far as Parkinson's specific therapy. So I think I have a slide on here next. And
I want to say, like, home health, a lot of times, and pre-COVID times now we say, you know, we would say, well, you might not qualify for home health because maybe you go to card club or you go to exercise groups or whatever. You're not really homebound. Now, if you have Parkinson's, you are, and you're over the age of 60, either one of those, but certainly if you have both of those factors, you're in an at-risk category. So it's dangerous. It's not advised for you to leave your home just at will all the time. So you are essentially homebound. Most of us are essentially homebound right now not a lot of places for us to go. So this is a good opportunity. If you think of home health as for people who are in a wheelchair or who can't get out, and you may think, well, that's not really me. Given the what do they always say, in these unprecedented times, we're also sick of hearing that, right? But in this time, this is the time to take advantage of those home health benefits. If ever was a time to take advantage of those home health benefits, for sure.
That's a really good point, because the homebound status is almost eliminated now because there are so few options like to go to outpatient therapy right now. It's, again, you're at that at-risk, the safest place for you to receive, healthcare is really in your home right now. For most. Okay, so now we get to get moving, right? We got everybody pep talked up. So I'm going to go through a few exercises.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, Gina.
Oh yeah, that's fine. She's going to make me big.
Yeah, I want to stop share. There we go.
Okay, can y'all see me still? Okay, I don't know if you need to tilt that down a little bit. Okay.
There we go.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with a posture exercise, okay? So if you want to, you can do this with me. If not, you can watch it and do it later, but I want everybody to sit up at the edge of your chair, okay? All right, so we're away from the back of our chair in what we call unsupported sitting. So we're sitting up very tall using our belly muscles, our back muscles. And I want everybody to put their elbows at their side. Okay, we're going to turn our palms up towards the ceiling. We're sitting up nice and tall. I call this my no money stretch, and it's a great posture exercise. So you're going to keep your elbows in at your side. You're sitting up tall, and you're just going to open those arms out, squeezing those shoulder blades together like no money, right? And hold it and relax. Good job. Did you guys feel that? A little bit? Yeah. Let's do that again, okay? So you're going to sit up tall. Elbows at your side, palms up. You're gonna open those arms up, squeezing those shoulder blades together. No money.
Your elbows, shoulders back.
Yeah, good, and bring it back in. So that's a great one to do if you've spent a lot of time at the computer, working on a puzzle, if you've been reading a book, is to do that no money stretch, because it really opens us up in our middle. The other thing that I always tell my freshman daughter, she has terrible posture, and I'm sure it's because she has a physical therapist as a mother, because I'm always telling her, like squeeze your shoulder blades down to your back pockets. So that's something that you guys can think about too, is just sitting up tall and taking those shoulder blades and tucking them down into your back pockets, and you'll really feel those extensor muscles start to, so tuck them in your back pockets, those shoulder blades. Okay, so we're gonna do another one in sitting. And remember how I said that multitasking, right, was really good for the Parkinson's brain? So multitasking is combining a physical activity with a cognitive load and with maybe like a manual load. So it's the combining of activities. So for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to combine a thinking task and a physical task, okay? Now, it's going to sound hard, but I promise you guys can do it with practice, okay? So the instructions for this one are, when I raise my right hand and left knee, we're going to count up by 1, okay? So right hand, left knee, 1. And then on the opposite side, when we raise our left arm and our right knee, we're going to count down by 2 from 20. Yeah. And you guys are like, oh, no, I'm out. You can do this. Okay, it's challenging, but we can do it. So let's review the directions again. Right arm, left knee, up by 1. Okay. And then left arm, right knee, down by 2s, starting at 20. All right, so let's try to work through this together, okay? So here we go. So 1, 20, 2, 18, 3. Good job, guys. 16. Yeah. 4. 14. 5. 12.
6.
Oh, no. Yeah, 6. See, it gets tricky. 10. 7. 8. This is where it gets tricky. 8. 6. 9. 4. 10. 2. We did it! So,
Wow, we don't usually make it that far.
I know. We usually fall off the wagon like way more important. So that's just an example of one of those multitask brain body challenges. And there's a lot of those that you can find on YouTube or Delay the Disease, some of those resources. And also your friendly therapists like Gina and Shannon. Shannon really likes to do a lot of those brain challenge games too. So she's got some good ones. Great. Well, I'm going to go over the next one that we're going to do is just something for like a functional training. Okay. So we talk about how important it is to kind of practice just our functional mobility. So I always tell my patients, like, if there's something that's hard for you, the best way to get better at it is to practice what's hard for you. Okay, so we're gonna practice some big sit to stands out of a chair. And we always recommend our patients practice that sit to stand. It's something we do often, so it's something we wanna kind of keep good. So I wanna make sure that people always kind of practice getting that head and shoulders like down and forward, because if my head and shoulders is down and forward, like my bottom's gonna come up. If I try to stand up out of a chair and my head and shoulders are back here, it's really hard for me to get up. And that's kind of what gradually happens over time for people, especially if we have some balance problems. People just do not want to lean forward because they're afraid they're gonna, fall forward. But the easiest way to get out of a chair is to translate that head and shoulders forward to then get up. So we're gonna practice 5 big sit to stands, okay? So for the first 3, I'm gonna push off with my arms. And the last 2, I'm gonna do it kind of an advanced way without arms. So you guys do the best you can, okay? So we're gonna lean forward, stand up big. Good, and then sit back down, okay? Lean forward, stand up big, and that's 2. And sit back down, lean forward, stand up big, back down. Okay, now these last 2, I'm gonna do it without arms, but you do what's best for you and what's safest for you. So I'm gonna reach forward, power up those legs big, okay? Sit down, I'm gonna reach forward, push up big. Okay, so just practicing.
Good job, nice.
Yeah, nice job. So just trying to practice some of those big sit to stands, like every day. We'll keep that. All right, that's a great sit to stand. Way to go. No hands too. Very good. All right, well stay standing because the next one we're going to do is in standing. Okay. Oh, and I'll back up here a little bit. So this next one, and you may want to have something to hold on to for this one. If you've got a chair, yep, that chair will be perfect. So we're going to do just something for strengthening, okay? I'm going to show from the side, but you can just face forward to me, okay? And we're going to do some squats with some leg pulses, and you're really going to feel it in those legs, okay? So we're going to come down into a little squat, and we're going to pulse it 10 times. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you're going to drive up through those heels. Good, and then we'll rest and reset. We're going to do the same thing, so 10 little pulses. You're going to pulse, you're going to come down into a mini squat, pulse it out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drive up through those heels. Can you guys feel that in your legs? I can feel mine already. Yeah? Let's do one more set of that, okay? So mini squat, Keep it low. Little pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand up. Woo! See, I'm just right there. I felt that in my legs. Good job. I'm so glad we had some participants. So those are just kind of like a few, like 4 examples of some exercise. We did a posture one, we did a multitasking one, we did a functional one, and we did a strengthening, okay? So your program at home, like a therapist could help you develop like a nice program that had a little bit of each of those components in there for you. And, you know, there's enough like variety that, you know, you could kind of get something different every day. So, yeah. What'd you guys think? Did you like it?
Mm-hmm. Good. Yes.
Everybody's gonna like hit the ground running tomorrow safely?
Just don't hit the ground. Don't, no,
Oh, yeah.
no hitting the ground.
Why did I say that?
I don't know. That's terrible. No hitting the ground.
No.
Everybody, I always say stay vertical.
That's right. Stay vertical. Before we share like our last screen, or I guess we can share it because it has our contact information on there. But does anybody have any questions for Shannon or I?
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay. Well, so that's a little bit, yeah. So here's just some information about like what we do in home health, and we pretty much cover most all areas. Not Shannon and I specifically, but
Right.
we have
This is the therapy company that we work for
home health.
For home health.
Yeah. So and we have a lot of LSVT teams in different areas. So there's that contact information. And then also this is just our like personal, like our email.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a question for what Shannon and I call the Parkinson's hotline that we run, we're always here for you. And we have had some people reach out kind of during this quarantine or after quarantine if you need guidance or help or questions. Yeah.
Or just need somebody to talk to and kind of ask, is this how it is for everybody right now? You know, we're happy to just talk to you about that too. We miss everyone so much. We miss having our groups. I miss having outpatients. So we really are missing everyone. And we know that a lot of you are missing each other from our groups. So
hopefully
and your other groups, I know a lot of you are in Rock Steady Boxing or in Delay the Disease, and you're not able to attend those groups. And so we want you to keep making connections. One thing that we have coming up next month is the Sunflower Symposium. So it's the annual event by the University of Cincinnati. It is usually down in Loveland, Ohio, near Cincinnati. But this year it is going to be virtual. So I sent out the registration link in the last email. I encourage you to register for it. Gina and I are have been invited to be presenters this year. So I think is our slot at 10 or 10:15?
I think it's 10:15.
So it will be like an all-day thing like it usually is, but you'll have an agenda. So I think you'll be able to kind of jump in and jump out depending on what you want to see.
They always have some really great speakers, doctors, neurologists, all kinds of Parkinson's experts. And I like it because the topics are really like short, like it's 20 minutes. Yeah. So every 20 minutes you're talking about something new, you know, related to Parkinson's, and it's very well done. It's very patient, family oriented. So for the most part, they try to keep the level of the information like easy to understand, and it's very motivating too.
It is. I always say it fits everyone from doctors to a newly diagnosed Parkinson's patient. Like everyone in the spectrum fits in and gets something out of it. I think it'll be worth tuning in just to see like us talk less than 20 minutes. because
Yeah.
she and I never talk less than 20 minutes. So they're gonna have to like hook us and pull us off because that's pretty much what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So it would be worth tuning in just to see us get pulled off, or them pull the plug on us, or I don't know, maybe they'll play the music like they do at the Grammys or something.
Yeah, we'll see. But thank you guys for joining, and yeah, please register for Sunflower. And
Yep, I'll send the information again in the August newsletter, and I assume I'll have more information or any additional information I have by then. I'll send in that one. But that will be in August, so we won't have another meeting in August. We will only do the Sunflower meeting in August. And then September,
we're supposed to, yeah, we have a speaker book for September, so we might even do that virtual if we can't host.
Right.
Because you don't want to listen to Gina and Shannon the whole time. It's going to get old fast. We'll try to bring some other experts in.
So we're gonna we're not gonna say yet for September what we're gonna do, because we're hoping that by September maybe we can get
Safely
together.
gather.
So we'll see. But that's what the plan is for next month. So we'll just take it 1 month at a time.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. Thanks so much,
Thanks,
everybody.
Stay active.
Can you see? Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Uh-huh.
Could you see me?
No, we
We
can't
don't
see
see
you,
you.
but we can hear you.